We're good. Okay.
Okay.
Recording. I had that on my list too, so thanks for reminding. Okay. Success Club 5. We've got, I'm just going to read first names. So Callie, let's start from the bottom. Sorry, guys.
What?
Let's do Success Club 6.
There you go.
Marissa, Heather, Wendy, Virginia, Mary, Danny, Jamie, Bethany, and Amber. We've got Success Club 7 with Kate, Katie, Susan, Alexis, Kelsey. Nope, we're going into 8. Did I say 7? Sorry, guys. Okay, now we're going into 8. Kelsey, Amber, Constance, and Callie. I believe is how you say that. Sorry, don't make fun of me.
Hey, you wanted to volunteer for that. So that's Success Club 5.
Awesome.
Plus.
Way to go, guys. What are we, halfway through the month?
Halfway through the month,
That's pretty cool. And then Success Club 10, we have Tiffany Sin. 12, Moira, Ellen. 13, we have Laura. 14, Erin. 33, Brianna Headley. Holy crap, Bri. You are seriously on fire. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Okay. Top coach is Aaron Hopkins with 1,020. That is freaking awesome. Let's see, 900 Club, we have Laura Wright. 600 Club, Amber Bayer, Danny Barrett. 500 Club, Tiffany Sin, Katie Goon, and Renee Paro. I think that's how you say it. Way to go, guys. That's awesome. Top sponsors this week, we have Amy with 3, Kate Davies with 3, Emma Kittle with 3, Brianna Headley with 6. And then all of September, we have Alexis Olson with 3, Kate Davies with 3, Emma Kittle with 3, Mary Estep with 3, Shannon Maudsley with 3, Amber Bayer with 4, Amy Silverman with 4, Moira Kukaba with 5, and Brianna Headley with 15. Holy balls.
That's a lot of names.
That's a lot of names.
A lot of
That's
recognition.
awesome. And we still have half a month. So if you aren't in Success Club yet, we have plenty of time. You can totally hit it in one day. It's totally possible. So
Exactly.
I looked. I didn't see any rank advancements that I could find. So
I don't know if there's any on the team.
I hope there wasn't.
So
I scrolled through today on.
If you rank advanced and we didn't see it,
we're sorry.
Come blast us
on
you
our
can blame
messenger
us. And tell us.
But I couldn't see any. So
but getting right into it after recognition,
yes.
It's cool that Amy always provides really great speakers for us because, obviously her and Kevin are awesome and I love hearing them talk, but it's kind of like a mini summit when you get guest speakers on because everyone has different stories. They have different things that work in their business. And it's funny because it usually kind of goes back to the same kind of topics, but they might word it in a different way. And it totally hits you at that time, and you're like, oh my God. And Amy's like in the background, like, I've been telling you that, but Brad says it and you're like, oh, now I get it. So it's cool. It's cool to see different people on here. So we really appreciate that. But this is Brad bizjack. Thank you, Zoe, for that. 5-star diamond coach. Full-time coach as well. 2015 premier coach. SC10 all-star going on 40 months, which is awesome. That's huge. So, the floor is yours.
We'll unmute you, and then we will mute ourselves, and you are good to go.
Hey, can you guys all hear me? Yeah, things are good? Sweet. So I'm pumped to talk to you guys. I am at my fiance's house out in the country right now, so if I get some spotty internet, just let me know. And I'll hop back on and try to fix it up, but it should be good. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys tonight. Amy spoke for our team the other night, and she did an amazing job, and I'm hoping to bring the same favor back to you guys and bring some truth to this. And I truly appreciate the commitment to just continuous learning. I really think that's one of the signs of really successful people, right, is that they don't see learning as a chore. They see it as something that it's something that successful people do, right? They see it as a privilege, and it's cool to be here with you guys. Some of you guys I haven't met yet, but I truly hope that I get to meet you guys. But my goal tonight is to talk to you guys actually about goal setting, but in a different way than the normal, boring, oh, you write it down and you do this and this and this. It's going to be, there's actually going to be some really good substance to this. And I want to get to behind the psychology behind why we do what we do, with the goals that we have. And so we're going to take massive action to get there. And when all those thoughts of negative or overwhelm or laziness come into our mind, which still happens for me and Amy and everyone, right? Like 3, 4, 5, 6 years into this, when all that happens, you'll know how to react to it. You'll know how to respond. And so this isn't stuff that I've just come up with. This is stuff that I've learned through mentors like Jim Rohn or Tony Robbins. I'm big into Tony Robbins. I know your team is too, which is amazing. And so this is stuff that I've learned through those experts. And you'll see how diving into that third vital behavior, which in my opinion is the first vital behavior, really does make a difference, not just in your business, but really your quality of life. So if you're dissatisfied in your life or your business in any way right now, I want you guys to get really, really, really excited, because dissatisfaction is a gem as long as you use it. And tonight, there are going to be a lot of different little nuggets that you can take away. And I don't want you guys to focus on writing everything down, but focus on a couple of things that really hit you and take action on those things immediately. So I want to start by asking you guys to share in the chat box just what is your big dream this year, your big goal with your Beachbody business? If you could type it in the chat box real quick, just what your huge dream is with this. If there weren't limitations in your mind, just what is that? Type it in the chat box right now. Let's get some good ones going. 6 figures, awesome. That's fantastic. 2-star, what else we got? Diamond, I love that. Premier coach, diamond coach, elite. Fantastic, guys. What else we got? Anything else? I love that. Monthly bills, help someone lose 50 pounds. I love that. Guys, these are all great, right? So right there, this is the only thing in goal setting I'll talk about that's boring, right? And you did something right there that most people don't do, and you wrote it down. So if that's truly what you want, I want you guys to take that and make it big and bold and plaster it right behind your computer and stare at that every single day when you do this. And I know a lot of you guys are still doing it, so are already doing it. So that's the only boring part about goal setting that we'll talk about, is writing it down. But why don't we achieve those things? You guys ever wonder that? Like, why do we sometimes not get those big goals? When people fail to achieve what they want, it's really, really simple. It's because the biggest illusion in life that people have is that we're missing the resources to make something happen, to get these goals to come true. Some fear in our mind has convinced us in relation to coaching, but this can go for all categories of life, that we don't know enough people, or we don't know how, or we don't have time, or we don't have the money. I call bullshit. That's not the problem. The problem is the lack of resourcefulness, and I'll prove it to you guys right now. So let's use the example of the most basic thing that we do as coaches to make sure we're on track to building a successful business. That's Success Club, right? Let's use that as an example. And we always hear from some coaches, right? Like, I don't have the time, or I don't know enough people, or I've been sending out 10 invites a day. Isn't that enough? I don't know if I'm going to have enough to do more, right? And I'll let you guys have that illusion that we don't have enough for a couple seconds. But now I want you to picture the person in your life that you love the absolute most. Just picture them for a second. Maybe it's a baby you just had. Maybe it's your spouse. Maybe it's a pet if you don't have a family member with you, right? Or whatever it is, a best friend. Think of the person or the animal that makes you just so incredibly happy. Really think about them and think about what makes you love them so much. And think about all the memories you've had with them and all the different experiences. And I want you to imagine for 1 second that you found out that they had 10 years to live because of a terminal illness. And you just found that out. And you can't leave your job because you need to pay your medical bills, or their medical bills. But you also have seen what this has done for Amy and Kevin's life. And you know that if you bust your ass, you can make it happen to where you can spend unlimited time with them if you work really hard and make those sacrifices in the beginning to stay home with them for the remainder of their life. You have that opportunity, right? Where staying at your job, you wouldn't be able to. So all of a sudden, you know that running with this business can allow you to stay home with them for the 10 years they have left. How resourceful would you really be, right? How hard would Success Club really be? It'd be pretty damn easy, right? What about Success Club 10? It'd be a joke. It'd be so incredibly easy to do that because you have a purpose behind it. And all of a sudden, that thing that was so incredibly hard to do before is really, really simple because you're resourceful. Guys, when your purpose is deep enough, taking action just becomes second nature. You just do it. Right? You don't need a magical lightning bolt of motivation to strike you in the ass. You just find a way to get it done because you have a reason, right? Purpose comes first, answers come second. Whenever your purpose is deep enough, taking action becomes second nature. And I always use this metaphor of your purpose being like a compass, right? And if in your compass and you're out steering a ship in the middle of the ocean, right? And you're out in the middle of the ocean and there's a storm that comes. And this is a big thing to understand, guys. The storm of life always comes. There's always going to be something that happens, right? And that storm comes and there's 50-foot waves in every single direction. And there's clouds blocking the sky so you can't navigate by the stars because you have that compass or that purpose. You're further down along in the journey when everyone else that set out without that compass or that purpose is either crashing against the rocks or trying to scramble in a panic to figure out where the hell they are. But because you have that compass or that purpose, that reason for doing the things you need to do, you're further along down the journey. And when the storm subsides, which, guys, the storm of life, all that shit that happens, it always will subside. You're further along, right? So I just proved right there that the biggest illusion is that we're missing the resources to make it happen. But the real issue is the lack of resourcefulness. And if we have a purpose, we can find resources. How do we get resources? It's very simple. Human emotion. Emotion is the driver of finding resources, right? What's the way you're thinking about your problems, guys? Like if you have this struggle in your business, are you viewing it from a perspective of being frustrated or overwhelmed or bored? Or are you viewing it from the perspective of being determined and passionate and excited? Or like it's a challenge that you're gonna overcome, right? Like think about that. If we get out of our own head, like when we're emotional about something coming true, that emotion is gonna drive the resourcefulness and lead to the better decision making, and better decision making is going to make better actions, and better actions is going to mean better outcome. So those decisions, let's talk about those decisions. I learned this from Tony Robbins. Every outcome is driven by your choices, right? And every action you take has a reason. It's fathered or mothered by a decision in your mind, right? So if you ever wonder why your life is the way it is, take a good hard look at the decisions you've made over the last 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It's going to give you a really good indicator of why you are where you are, right? I look at my first 2 years of my business and how I chased recognition and ego and being noticed, and how I didn't do the vital behaviors, and my volume went down, right? And then I look at over the last year and a half of making the right decisions to remove my ego, to focus on things that actually produce business building results, right? And my business took off. I look at things in my life like my relationship with Janice, my fiance. I broke up with her back in college. That left me sad. I got back together with her. We're getting married now. I'm happy as hell, right? Decisions turn out the outcome totally differently, right? So think about that. Your decisions are literally indicators of where you are in life. And you could say, but yeah, this happened to me, right? And I'm sure there's stuff in your life that's happened or wasn't fair. Maybe it's that your boss makes you work a ton of hours. Maybe it's that, I don't know, every situation, there's things that happen, right? Everyone has good times and everyone has crap, right? Think about it. You could even have a situation in your life where someone passed away. And that would be really, really genuinely unfortunate. And I'm genuinely sorry if that has happened in your life. But think about this. How did you respond during those tough times? Like, what was your decision on how you responded to it? Did you decide to let it completely control you? Or did you decide to do something about it instead? And what I've learned from personal development, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, all these people I talk to you guys about, is that there's 3 decisions you can make in any situation to completely change the outcome of whatever you want. And the first is deciding what you're going to focus on. That's number 1. Decide what you're going to focus on. Because if you focus on fear, guys, it's going to become real. If you focus on what you don't have, you're going to have less. If you focus on why things are not, they will never be, right? But if you focus on what you genuinely want, your brain can't tell the difference between a vivid desire and reality, and you'll find a way to be resourceful. A lot of people focus in their life so much on things they can't control, like the weather, or if a coach quits, or if someone says no, or whatever it is, right? And when you focus on that, you're going to be stressed out. But if you focus on what you can control, like the number of invites you send, your decisions, your thoughts, the meaning you choose to give to those situations, you can be happy. So whatever you focus on, you're going to feel regardless if it's true or not. Focus equals reality to the individual. That's just truth. Focus equals reality to the individual. The second decision is, what does this mean, right? And we'll cover more on that in a little bit. We can cover over mastering your emotions. To you, in your perspective, is the situation painful or is it amazing, right? Is it horrible or is it a gift? Like, whatever meaning you choose to associate with any experience becomes your reality, and it becomes what you believe. So we'll talk more on that in a little bit. And then the third decision is, what am I going to do, right? What's the action I'm going to take? Because if you're disappointed or angry or sad or frustrated or upset or lazy, you're going to do something completely different than if you're grateful or happy or excited, right? Like, how would the outcome change? Like, if you're worried or overwhelmed, aren't you going to act completely differently than if you're grateful and determined and excited, right? So the meaning that you choose, keyword choose, to associate with every situation determines the action that you take. And I want to repeat that. The meaning you choose to associate with every situation determines the action that you take. And you get good at this by practicing, guys. You get good at this by really, really practicing. It's not going to be easy to wire your brain to think like this. I had to create this mind, right? It's not something that you start out, snap your fingers and it changes. But you have to condition your mind to change how you feel and teach your mind to live in a beautiful state no matter what happens, and teach your mind to think how every situation and circumstance can be a powerful thing in your life with practice. And all of a sudden, not knowing enough prospects can mean there's an opportunity to meet more people, right? All of a sudden, being broke can mean there's an opportunity to learn the mindsets of financially free and happily wealthy individuals, right? All of a sudden, being at a job that you hate every single day can mean that you have a great example of what not to do in your Beachbody business, right? I'll give you a personal example of how I completely reversed my entire relationship with my mother, right? For 25 years, I blamed her for everything, until just recently. I blamed her for the amount of debt I was in. My grandmother saved up about $50,000 worth of money for me to go to college with. When I got to college, that was taken, gone. It was spent. And I didn't have that, right? So I went into student debt from it. Then I look at the relationship she had with my dad and how they always used to fight, right? And I'm talking about screaming matches and pouring soap on each other and like just not a good environment, right? And then I think about every single day feeling really, really inadequate. Whenever I would get home from school, I'd walk in the door and I remember turning right, going down I see this it's like a wood floor, and I see my mom at her computer desk smoking a cigarette, playing her computer game, and just telling me to shut the hell up and go to my room, right? Like every single day, right? Getting yelled at, screamed at, and it was like emotionally abusive, right? And I used to blame my mom for so much of the situation, the circumstance that I had in my life, the debt that I was in, everything. But all I did to change my entire relationship with her was literally just change the meaning of what those situations meant to me, right? Because think about this. Without being in that much debt, I wouldn't have this hunger to be financially free. Without the situation, watching her and my dad like basically scream at each other every single day, I wouldn't be nearly as great of a spouse to her, right? Without the situation of feeling inadequate every single day when I got home from school, I wouldn't have this drive to give my future kids the childhood that I never got to have, right? So think about that. If I'm going to blame her for the bad times, I'm going to blame her for the good shit too, because without my mom, I would not be the person that I am today. So all I did right there is change the entire meaning of everything that happened in my life with her. And now I have a great relationship with her. We talk every couple days. And for 25 years of my life, it was not that way. But all I did, yes, Jennifer, perspective can save you, right? All I did was change the meaning that I associated with it. So every morning, how I condition this, how many of you guys are familiar with priming from Tony Robbins? How many of you guys ever do that? Priming by Tony Robbins. Every day, multiple times a day, I do priming. I do it when I wake up in the morning. I do it before I do my invites, and I do it before I run my challenge groups or my team call, right? Because what that focuses on is you focus on what you're grateful for in your life, what you want to come to fruition in your life. And I cycle in my mind through those things, and I condition my mind to focus on what I want instead of what I don't want. That action alone can change your entire life. How many of you guys have ever been guilty like me of focusing on things like, why isn't my team doing something, right? Well, what if you change that to, what can I do to help my team become successful? It's a completely different perspective. Small change in words, very similar, but totally different perspective, right? Think about that. It totally changes everything. So think about this. If you condition your mind to focus on what you want instead of what you don't want, your entire day changes. That action alone can change your entire life. So think about this. If you wake up in the morning and you sleep through your alarm clock, you're running late for work, you bang your toe on the nightstand, it starts bleeding everywhere, you got to get a Band-Aid on it, your dog shits on the carpet, you're running late, you get to work and your boss makes you stay late, you have to finish all these projects, you get home, you miss dinner, you can't give your kids a kiss goodnight because they're already asleep, right? That would be a pretty shitty day in most situations. Would you agree? Pretty shitty day in most circumstances, right? But here's a question. Would your entire day change the happiness of your entire day, would it change if the first thing you focused on in the morning is, holy shit, you know what? I am just so grateful that I have a job when most of this world lives on $900 a year, right? $2.50 a day. I'm so grateful that I have this annoying little dog that makes me laugh and smile all the time. And even though they're a pain in the ass, they're the most friendly, loving thing in the world, right? Or I'm so grateful to be married to this amazing woman or man and have these beautiful kids, right? That make me laugh all the time. If you focus on that, right? Even if all that same shit happened, wouldn't your day still be pretty amazing? Like, it would still be an awesome day. How would your happiness change if you focus on what you're grateful for every day? And then when you get done with that, you focus on what you want, the things that you want to come to fruition in your life, the goals you have, the dreams you have, being grateful for them coming true. Think about it. If I focus on how I don't know enough people to invite, or I'm tired today, or I don't have enough time in my day to do this, how would my day be different? How would my work hours be different? Of instead, I focused on, you know what, I am pumped for today because my name's Stephanie Kabata and I'm focusing on 2-star Premier, and I am so friggin' pumped to walk across stage at Summit as a Premier coach next year. I am jacked up about this. Like, how much would your day change if you focused on, I don't have enough resources to make it happen, to I am pumped up about the result that I want, right? Your view of life, guys, determines literally your future. So every single day, condition your mind to focus on being grateful and focusing on what you want, and all of that anxiety or overwhelm or depression or fear, whatever it is, you're going to slowly start to notice that go away, and you're going to become excited every single day. If you're stressed out in your life, what I've learned is that all stress is a code word for fear. That's stress. It literally just means that you're associating the meaning that something's more important than it really is. That's what stress is. Right? So think about that. Tony Robbins always talks about how most people major in minor things. Focus on the things that actually matter, like the results you want in your life. If you train your mind like you train your bicep and condition yourself to be at your best, your mind to be at your best, the quality of your life is always in direct proportion to the quality of your emotions on a daily basis. Because in any moment in time, guys, you can be upset about literally anything because what's wrong is always available to you, but so is what's right. So if you push against those problems instead of giving into them, your life's going to change. The only people that don't have problems, guys, are dead. The only people that don't have problems are doing things that are not doing anything, right? Problems, I've learned that problems are literally just the resistance that you push against to sculpt your character. That's what a problem is. So take this and make the primary emotions in your life the ones you actually want, because you literally control it. And when you view your life as amazing every single day, it doesn't just affect you, it affects everybody around you, and people give it back. I can guarantee you guys, you feel energy right now watching this call. You feel energy because my primary emotions are the ones that I want. I'm radiating that to you, right? It sounds like a bunch of BS, but it's so true. You feel better listening to someone that has emotions that you want, right? So think, I'll give you an example. Right? Blaine, I love that. Choose your primary emotion, love. I love that, man. Or is it Blaine? I can't see you. Where are you? Man, woman, where are you? Blaine, woman. There we go. I didn't know. But I love that, Blaine. That's seriously amazing. That's seriously amazing. And it's so true. I learned that at Tony Robbins. Make the primary emotion you want love. And that's so true. If you give what you want to feel, you're going to feel what you gave, right? And so think about that. It doesn't just affect you. When I was I was flown out to Albany, New York to speak at their Super Saturday. And one of the things that happened was my flight got canceled on the way out there. And I was standing in line, and everyone was bitching and moaning at this one poor little flight attendant lady, or the lady at the desk, right? And it was, Danny, that's awesome. I'm glad I saw you there. Hopefully I saw you there too and we got to talk. But anyways, I was standing in line, and all these people were bitching and moaning at the people or the lady that was running the desk. Everyone. And I'm the only person standing in line just smiling, saying, you know what, this isn't convenient, but it'll work out. It'll be fine. We'll figure it out. She literally plucks me out of line, pulls me to the front, and says, you know what, just thank you for smiling when everyone else is being mean. We're going to put you on a different airline. It'll be a direct flight to Albany, and you're going to get there earlier than you would have before. All I did was smile. That's it, right? So you control this, guys. When you view your life as amazing, it doesn't just affect you, it affects everybody around you, right? So let's go into something that's going to be more about the action that you take on your goals and transition a little bit. And so, and pause for a second. I want you guys to pause And I want you guys to write out 3 action steps that you know you absolutely must do to get to your goals. You absolutely must do them, but you've been avoiding them or you haven't been doing enough of them, whatever it is. Write down 3 action steps that you absolutely know you must take. And this is something right now where we're cutting off all ties. We're deciding to do it, not try, not I know what I need to do, but deciding with no backup plan, this is what I'm going to do. And write down those 3 action steps, take about 30 seconds, and I'll shut up for a second, and then we'll get back into it. So once I see faces look up, I'll know you guys are done. Sweet, got some faces up there. That is good. So we got them written down, right? Cool. So the next piece, again, I've learned from Tony Robbins. I'm not taking credit for this. I've learned from him. It's about pain and pleasure, right? And going through this exercise and actually really diving in and doing this can make or break the action that you take to get to your goals. And what we're going to realize is that some of the decisions that we make, some of the choices we make when it comes to our goals are sometimes really, really silly, right? And so it's going to force us to take action. So if you've ever procrastinated in any way before, this is what I use whenever I'm procrastinating. So we know our big goal that we absolutely must achieve this year. And we know the 3 action steps that we absolutely must do to get there. We wrote them down. We did all of that today, right? And so we know that, but oftentimes there's that mental roadblock, right? There's that thing that gets in the way. We know what we need to do, but we end up on the couch. We know how important inviting is on a daily basis, and it's the most important thing that we need to do to build this, but we avoid it, right? We know we absolutely must make time for personal growth, but sometimes we perceive it as not important, right? What the hell is Amy talking about making us read a book, right? We know that doing our workouts and drinking Shakeology will benefit all aspects of our life, but sometimes we slack there too. Why is that? You guys ever wonder why that is? It has to do with pain and pleasure. Because as humans, all of our decisions are driven by our thoughts and our need to either avoid pain at all costs or gain pleasure, right? And how we associate pain and pleasure to each situation makes a huge impact here. So procrastination. Why do we procrastinate? I'm going to make it really, really simple, and you'll never wonder why you procrastinate again. Procrastination, it's very, very simple. We think that taking action would be more painful than doing nothing, and we experience less pain by doing nothing. That's it, right? Our brains are not wired to be happy. They're wired to survive. Think about it. Think about the problems that people faced 2,000, 3,000 years ago, right? They were focusing on how the hell they were going to eat, how they're going to stay warm, if a tiger was going to jump out and eat them, right? That's how we're wired. We're not wired to feel positive, happy emotions. We're wired to survive. Our brains are literally going to fight us if they feel anything that's painful. So before, what we associated with trying to find food and trying not to starve, we're now associating with sending a text message or making a phone call or inviting someone to a challenge group. So if there's ever a decision about an action, we're always going to choose the lesser of the 2 pains. And how you get through this is self-awareness, right? Like we've talked about, guys, our reality is based on what we focus on. If we focus on the pain that it's going to be long-term by not taking action, instead of the pain short-term of taking action, you can use this. You can literally use pain and pleasure instead of having it use you. So we won't do this right now because of time, but I want you guys to do this with each of your 3 actions as kind of homework today. And really do this. Write it down because you are going to be blown away by what you write. There's a 5-step process that I live by whenever I'm procrastinating. And number 1 is what's the action I need to take? I mean, you already wrote that down, right? You wrote 3 of them. So let's say one of my actions that I need to take is I need to invite 20 people every single day. Let's just say that's one of my actions that I need to take, right? 20 people every single day. Number 2, what is the current pain that I associate with taking action on it? What is the current pain that I associate with taking action on it? That might mean that it takes up time. That might mean that I'm afraid of being rejected, that I would rather have people come to me, that I have self-doubt that I can even be successful at this, that it feels uncomfortable, whatever it is. Write down every single current pain that you're associating with taking action on it. Number 3, what is the current pleasure that you associate with not following through? Because you're actually getting something out of not doing it, right? That might mean an episode of Game of Thrones. That might mean more time with your husband or wife. Whatever it is, you're getting something from not doing it, right? What are you getting out of it? And number 4, this is where you're going to have a huge eye-opener. If you write it down, if this is in your head, it will not work, I promise you. Number 4, what will it cost me emotionally if 2 years from now, what will it cost me emotionally 2 years from now if I don't take action every single day starting right now? What will it cost me emotionally 2 years from now if I don't take action every single day starting right now? You won't achieve elite, Jennifer, 2-star, Danny, elite, right? By the end of the year, you'll be feeling you're at events like you wishing you were up there on stage. You'll stay in debt longer. You won't have the freedom to travel. You'll end up like your parents did, whatever it is. You won't be able to give your future kids that stress-free lifestyle they deserve, right? You'll always feel stressed or overwhelmed or like you're playing catch up, or you'll just have to stay at your job longer, or you won't be fulfilling your purpose. Holy shit, that's powerful, right? Think about that. What is really more painful to you, inviting 20 people a day or taking action on a dream, or ending up in the same spot in life? Like, what is it? Taking action on a dream and inviting 20 people a day, or ending up in the same spot in life? What's really more painful? And add a kicker to that, number 5. I'm getting some feedback on the microphone. I don't know who it is, but number 5.
You go potty and you come right back. That's a good potty.
Someone's potty training. But number 5, what will I gain emotionally 2 years from now by taking action every single day starting right now? What will I gain emotionally 2 years from now by taking action every single day starting right now? And that might mean a life of complete and total freedom. That might mean being a leader within the Beachbody community, being able to have your dream vacation or dream wedding or whatever it is, being able to influence more lives, being an incredible leader, being on the path to retire your parents, to give your kids the lifestyle they deserve. Think about the gravity of that, guys. What's really more pleasurable? A little bit of TV time when you don't feel like inviting, or complete and total freedom in your life? What's really more painful? Being afraid of what someone might say, or staying in the same spot in life, right? What's really more painful? And you get good at this, guys. This isn't something that's just really easy to do right away. You get good at this by continuously practicing. Repetition is the mother of skill, and you're in control of this, right? But just know that avoiding this is never going to work. You will never escape your way to fulfillment and passion. I think that's a huge point. You will never escape your way to fulfillment and passion. All those invites that you pretended that you did, you're never going to get there by escaping, right? You're never going to get there. So think about that. Think about that big goal. It's literally just a couple of mental decisions away from fulfillment. That is it, right? If you get to the point where you absolutely must change, think about that example in the beginning. Like, if it's a should, you're going to be stuck. If it's an I'll try, you're totally screwed, right? You're giving yourself a way out. But think about that example in the beginning about the terminal illness, right? Think about that for a second. Like, when you have that, if it's a must, if you have to create the time to spend with them, you're going to do it, right? All backup plans go out the window, and you're just going to do. You're earning the amount of money right now that you need to earn. You're in the spot in your business right now that you need to be, right? Because if it's a must, you're going to find a way. If you're unreasonable about it and you don't settle for what people say, even your spouse, when they don't understand you, right? When they don't understand this business, if you agree with most people in life, guys, you're screwed. Be ridiculous here. My grandpa always used to tell me, yours is the obligation to make yourself stand out from the crowd. Do that. Be ridiculous. Be unapologetic about it. Break away from a culture that tells you to be less than you can really be, because people are going to try to limit you, but it's all in your head. If I would have listened to what people said about Beachbody in the beginning, I would not be living a life of choice right now. Don't apologize for being different, because what makes you different is somebody else's freedom. Whatever you focus on, guys, whatever you focus on consistently, you're going to experience. So if you have big dreams of leaving your job this year, or 6 figures, or 5-star, or 2-star, elite, whatever it is, if you have those dreams, you can have that. You just have to condition your mind to focus on practicing so much, associating so much pain to not doing it instead of doing it. Right? And like so much pleasure to getting the goal and so much pain to not, that you have to take action. Get out of a life where you really aren't that happy, but you aren't unhappy enough yet to do anything about it, right? Get out of that. All Beachbody is, guys, it's a vehicle. It's a vehicle to get to your purpose. It should never be your life. It's a vehicle to meet your needs in life. And so a little bit of a tip that I've applied from personal development that has made a huge impact in my life. whatever you want to feel, give it. Give it unapologetically. Whatever you want to feel, give it. Most people want to feel loved. I do, right? I want to feel loved. Just imagine how much of an impact it's going to make. Think about it with your inviting, right? Like if you deeply try to make someone feel loved and important and significant when you invite them, how great will they feel even if they decide not to move forward with this? Won't it still be a positive experience, right? So instead of like, hey, I'm running a challenge group, I need 3 people, you want to do this? Why can't it be like, hey, dude, I was thinking about you today and I haven't talked to you in a while. And I remember all those times we used to have in college. I really miss those. How have you been? How are your friends doing? How's this person doing? I remember you being just such a good person. And I remember you telling me that you're working a ton of hours lately. I was thinking about you. And I actually run these groups meant for really, really busy people. I have no idea if it's for you or not, but have you ever considered one of the health and fitness challenges that we're running? I think it can add a lot of value to your life, right? Think about that. Give what you want to feel and you're going to feel what you gave, right? If you say, hey, I'm running a challenge group and I need 3 people, and they avoid you or they say no, you feel pretty shitty, right? You don't feel authentic. You feel like you're kind of just a pawn and you're using them, right? But what if you go the other way? I can guarantee you that the response is going to make you feel just as great as you made them feel. This business, guys, is about authentic, genuine relationships. Give that and you're going to receive it. There isn't a secret. You know the vital behaviors. You know the 4 vital behaviors: inviting, being proof the products work, personal development, and recognizing people for their actions. So instead of asking what you need to do, because you already know, ask what the result you want really is. Focusing on what you need to do just makes you overwhelmed. Focus on what you want, and you're going to feel energized and excited. You've got to be honest with yourself about where you're at right now, right? Honesty is freedom. Nothing is going to get better until you admit that something is off. And you just have to adjust your beliefs, because when you have that belief, you make it happen. And what I'll close with tonight, guys, is the power of emotion and thinking beyond goals, thinking bigger than Beachbody or rank or Success Club, just thinking about your life, right? Our lives are dictated by the emotions that we feel the most often, right? So even if you don't like that emotion, it's where you live, right? Like, think about this. It's an emotional pattern that you go back to all the time. This is, again, Tony Robbins 101 right here, right? If you leave your home, regardless of if it's messy, you're going to come back, right? Or like if you set the thermostat at 75 and it's 95 out, it's going to come down, right? Beating this is not about denying those negative emotions. It's about breaking that emotional pattern and using the emotions that you have to teach you a lesson. Those emotions are very, very real. It's using that negative emotion to create positive change. So understand something, guys. How you feel in any moment in time is really just the result of the meaning you've chosen to give to an experience, right? This is an example I got from personal development. If a man opens the door for a woman and she's really, really happy about it, why is that? It's not because of the event. It's not because of him opening the door. It's because of what she associated him opening the door to mean, right? But if he opens it and she's all pissed off about it, thinking I can get it myself, the event never changed. She just associated something different with it, right? He still opened the door. So whatever you're feeling at any given time is never based on the circumstance. It's based on how you interpret the circumstance. So if something is a negative emotion, don't deny it, welcome it, and learn from it. So an amazing example to prove to you guys what I mean, I want you guys to close your eyes for a second. Really do this. Close your eyes for a second. And imagine that big goal this year, right? Imagine that goal that you guys have, that you wrote in the chat box. And I want you guys to put yourself in this state of really hoping that it comes true. Like, what do you feel when you hope for it? Like, think about that. What do you feel when you really hope it could happen? Keep your eyes closed. And I want you to imagine that same goal. And then put yourself in a state of complete and total expectation. That shit's happening right now. That goal is coming true. It is real. It is happening this year. You're going to be able to walk across stage. You're going to be 2-star, elite, 6 figures, whatever it is. It is happening. And you made that happen. Open your eyes. Think about that. Like, what's the difference? Hoping is passive, right? You focus on both possibilities, that it could happen and that it might not. But expecting, on the other hand, is intent, and it focuses on one thing. So when you look at those states you were in, you were able to hope that it came true, right? And you were also able to expect that it came true. And both had a different emotion associated with it. So I just proved right there that because you change what you focus on, you literally control your emotions. Nothing changed from the content of the goal. I just told you to expect it to happen. My point is, you're literally always in control of how you feel, no matter what. And if you understand that any negative emotion has a very positive purpose, your life is going to grow so much. Think about it. If you use it as a signal, a negative emotion as a signal that something has to change, and it's a message for you, and you don't make that emotion wrong, but you use it instead, it's going to explode your life. Like, recognize it when you feel it and respect it and appreciate it because you're learning something. Like being overwhelmed. It is not bad to be overwhelmed. I just think that you're making a choice to do it, right? It literally means that you need to reevaluate what's most important to you. Overwhelmed literally means you're just expecting perfection in an imperfect world. That's overwhelmed. So if you get really curious and you ask yourself every question that you possibly can about what this could really mean, like, what is this telling me? Like, if your spouse is quiet for a week, does it really mean they don't love you? Right? Or is it maybe they're caught up in something? Maybe they need more attention from you. They've had a bad week, right? There are so many meanings that can come from this. But think about it. If you actually ask yourself, what could this situation really mean to me? And you assess it and you take action based on that, your entire life's going to change. And all this goes way beyond goal setting, guys. It goes all the way into why we do what we do. Beachbody is not everything in your life, right? It's a vehicle you use to meet specific needs. And you're going to screw up. But those delays are not denials unless you give up, right? You don't control the events. You don't control if someone says no, if a coach quits, if there's a return order, if it rains, if someone says something shitty about you, right? You don't control the events, but you do control what they mean to you. The meaning is yours. So decide what you really want your life to be about, right? What's your real purpose with this? For me, I'll share mine and show you guys how an achievement or a goal is not something that I can accomplish. It's not something that's my why. It's not my purpose. Financial freedom is not my why. 15-star diamond is not my why. Retiring Janice is not my why. Those are achievements I can have on the path of fulfilling my why, right? So for me, the purpose of my life is just to be the happiest, most genuine, passionate, and loving person that I can possibly be, and deeply emotionally influencing other people through words and talking and helping them expand their unlimited quality of life and putting them in different situations that helps them grow and appreciate and helping them find deep connection in their relationships and being their bridge to becoming strong and courageous and powerful and living every single day with passion. Right? That's not something I can achieve while I'm a Beachbody coach. That's something people will look back after my life and say that I was all about. So guys, with this, the majority of the results that you're getting in your life come from the action that you take, right? And that action you take comes from the meaning that you choose to associate with it. And the activities that produce the results are known to you. And if you don't know them, Google them. They're in your training. The only thing that matters is what goes on between your ears. And you probably came into this call thinking we were going to reverse engineer how to get to Success Club this month, but that's not important, because if you master what goes on between your ears, then instead of shrinking your dreams down to the size of your current income or business, you can build your income to the size of the dreams that you really want. And if you master that, you master goal setting. So love you guys. I hope this is helpful. Cameron, I'll turn it back over to you. And thank you guys so much for having me. I'm happy to do questions if you guys want, but I really hope this is helpful.
Yeah, first off, so many nuggets of info. She took a bunch of notes. Like I tell my coaches, and Amy says the same thing, like no one ever gets on a team call like this and feels like shit afterwards. Like, that was horrible. I felt dog shit. Like, you feel motivated. You feel good about yourself. You hear stuff in there that you can immediately implement, and that's why it's so vital to get on here, and it's recorded if people don't get on live, but that was really awesome, and it was cool to see another dude representing for the bros out there. So that's awesome. But yeah, Amy was saying Q&A, totally up to you how long you want to stay on, and I think how we normally do it, so 1,000 people don't talk at once, is just use that chat box, and if you have some questions for Brad, he can scroll through and answer some questions as long as you want to do it. I know you have your night that you got to get to too, so totally up to you, man.
So write in the box if you have any questions.
Yeah.
10-15 minutes here if people have questions, or if I scared everyone away. Oh man, Brooke, that's a great one. Personal development books. There's the 7 C's to, what's it called? The 7 C's to winning in the locker room or something. I forgot exactly what it's called, but it's a leadership book. And it's absolutely amazing. It's by the same guy that wrote The Energy Bus. Just Google 7 C's and leadership. And it's seriously an amazing book for leadership. Also, obviously the staples of Beachbody, but the best personal development that I have ever done has come when I've invested money and time into it. And the reason for that is, one, I have skin in the game and I'm more likely to like really take it seriously. But getting to events like UPW, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Tony Robbins UPW, worth every single, I've been to one, worth every single penny. Every single penny. I invested in a Tony coach worth every single penny. What's the one that we did online? I forgot what it's called, but there's Ultimate Edge, right? That one is absolutely incredible. And that's where a lot of the stuff that I learned with tonight came from, right? So yeah, I think personal development, getting to events, as far as other books go, there's so many. I would just pick an area that you really want to master and get better at, and dive into that and just really apply it. That's the biggest thing. Hardest obstacle I've had to overcome as a coach, Emily. Oh man. That's a great question. I would say getting over my ego. For the first 2 years of coaching, all I wanted was for people to know who I was. And it worked. I got a lot of people to know who I was. I was in the 21-day fixed test group. I'm always on stage with Autumn for every single workout she does. And I thought my shit didn't stink because of that, right? I thought that because I had that going on, that my business was just going to grow and things were going to happen. And I would intentionally seek out situations where people would know who I was because it felt really good. And it actually came from a big insecurity of this feeling of a need to be liked. And I tried to live my life through just straight up significance, being significant. But I forgot who said it. I think it was Blaine that said it earlier about coming from a place of love. When I learned at UPW to come from a place of love and contribution instead of a place of significance, my entire life changed. Everything changed. So I would say that was probably the biggest obstacle I had to overcome, was getting over my own ego and come from a genuine place of trying to give and add value instead of trying to get. And that was really hard for me to do. It took a really long time. What do I suggest for someone with anxiety or social anxiety? That's a great question. I would say UPW, honestly. I'm going to keep going back to it. That event, like, you'll come out of that event a completely different person. I guarantee it. So Rebecca, highly recommend you invest in that. Worth every single penny. What else we got? Number 1 tip for new coaches. That's a great question. Number 1 tip for, this is a great way of asking questions, by the way. I'm going to adopt this on my team. Number 1 tip for new coaches. Oh man. I would say that the only way that you can't have the dreams that you want is if you stop being consistent and if you quit. I think that's one of the biggest pieces. I see so many coaches come in and they want the Lexus to show up in their driveway after 2 weeks, right? And it drives them nuts when they don't get it. And I respect that because I felt that way too. But just understand that this is the long game. And the coach that is on again, off again will never build this. If you are 1 week on, 1 week off, you will never build this. I promise you. You'll be stuck in the same spot 3 years from now. But if you do the little things every single day and just understand that the only coach that doesn't get their dreams is the one that quits and stops being consistent, you're going to have it. So it's the long game. Be here 5 years from now. Everyone says be here 1 year from now. Be here 5 years from now. This is a growth journey. It's not what goals do I have and what do I need to do to achieve those goals. It's who the hell do I need to become to achieve those goals. And that's, I think, another huge piece for new coaches. It's your personal growth is probably the biggest factor in your business goals coming true. So many coaches take it for granted. New coaches take it for granted. I don't need to read a book, right? And I get it because it's new, it's different. But trust me that your income will always follow the level of personal growth that you do. It's guaranteed. I promise you that. So stick with it and just grow as a person, dive into personal growth, and consistency always wins. It always wins. And through doing it and falling on your ass, you're going to get better. And oh man, there's a whole other call I could do on consistency for you guys. Be happy to do that for you guys sometime. What else we got? What is your must happen in 2 years? So you do the damn thing. Oh, my must happen in 2 years. Retire her. Bring Janice home. I don't want her to work in a corporate world. Retire her and bring her home. Earn the amount of income that she would feel comfortable staying at home and pursuing a career that she genuinely loves. That's my must happen. Let's see what else we got. How did you get out of the mindset of getting? Well, it's a great question. I thought of all the negative consequences that had come in my life, right? Coming from a place of getting, I was putting myself first. I was making people not feel significant at all. I was basically just ruining my business. And I looked at all the consequences of what trying to get was creating. And then I looked at, okay, if I come from a place of love and contribution every single day, what consequences could come from that? And holy shit, it outweighed the other by a long shot. And that was something Tony Robbins, again, you guys, I think Amy's just as big into Tony Robbins as I am. I'm not sure. But yeah, so I know she's at a Tony event right now. Right. But seriously, that event changed literally everything for me, everything. And it wasn't just my business that changed. My relationship with her changed. The way that I'm a dog parent changed. Like literally everything changed in my life from that event. So yeah, those are great questions, guys. I'm happy to expand on more of them if you guys got them. Still got a few minutes. That was awesome. Anybody? Thank you, guys. Really hope this is helpful. Really hope it was helpful. Cameron, anything else, man? Any questions from you guys or anything? Or we good? Oh, best tips for recruiting. Oh, Blaine, that's a good one. By the way, Blaine, I'm really sorry I called you a dude earlier. I have a male friend named Blaine. So that's why I did. So I'm really, really sorry about that. Anyways, helpful tips with recruiting. One, yeah, a lot of helpful tips with recruiting because I screwed up with this so bad for a long time. One is don't qualify anyone. And what I mean by that is you don't know someone's pain. You don't know what they're going through. Someone might appear to have the perfect life. We're encouraged to share vulnerably on social media every single day. Most people in this world are not. Right? They're not sharing their pain publicly, right? So what I used to do is think, oh, that person wouldn't like this. That person wouldn't need this. That person's got their shit together. And the people that came out of this came from me taking that leap of faith and asking people that I didn't even think were interested, right? So don't qualify people. Always reach out and ask people that you know this can genuinely help. Another thing is I use the objection as the reason to ask them. So if someone has a lot of shit going on in their life, right? If they're super, super busy, I'll use that as the reason to ask them to become a coach. If someone has, a really low on money, right? And as a new coach, it's easy to kind of feel like that's why they won't want this. But I use that as the reason to invite them. Like, hey, I noticed you mentioned things were a little bit tight. I don't know if this is for you or not, but have you ever considered becoming a coach? Like, this is completely changed my life financially. I know it can help you too, or whatever it is that you say, but use the objection as the reason. What you lack in skill, make up for in numbers. So if you're brand new to this and you are just starting to recruit, just understand that you're going to suck at it right away. And that's okay. Like it's okay to not be great at it, but think about it like, I don't know how to do their fax machine thing, but so think about it like, I always use the Jim Rohn thing. It's like baseball and batting average. So this isn't my house. That's why I don't know what to do here. It's like baseball and batting average, right? So Jim Rohn always talks about how you don't have to bat 1,000. I think that's something that a lot of new coaches struggle with, is they think they need everybody to say yes, and if they don't, they're a horrible coach. It's not true. Most people say no to me, right? Most people are going to say no to you, and that's okay, right? Think about it like this: if you're batting 100 in baseball, you're doing pretty decent, right? You're doing okay. You're not good, but you're not bad. You're still in the majors, right? You're batting 200 in the majors. You're doing a little bit better. You're doing pretty average, right? You get to that point where you're batting 300. You're making millions of dollars a year, and you're striking out 75 or 70% of the time, right? You don't have to bat 1,000. So just keep that in mind. Most people are going to say no, and that's okay. Other tips with recruiting, oh man, I don't even know. I could probably think of more, but those are the three that come to mind. Let's see. Janice did not go to UPW. I'm going to drag her to one now. Anybody else? Anybody? Cool. Alrighty, guys. Cameron, I think that's it.
Oh, that was awesome, man. We really appreciate it. I'm sure everyone on this call really appreciates it. That was awesome. It was great. So much great wisdom and nuggets of info, and appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us. So hopefully someday we'll get to meet you in person, but we really appreciate you talking, and it was awesome, dude. So
yeah, hopefully we can